So the tie and the slur in sheet music both look very similar. It's a curved line connecting multiple notes. And sometimes they can be very confusing and they also have multiple meanings. In this video, I want to explain the difference between the two and how to correctly play them and what different scenarios we can encounter them. So let's start with the slur. The slur is basically a curved line that connects many notes of different pitches. This is very important that it's different pitches because if they are the same pitches, and by pitch I mean note, so A, B, C, D, if it connects the same pitches, it's a tie. But if it's connecting different pitches, it's going to be called a slur. The most basic meaning of a slur is legato playing, which means smooth, connected playing. So let's have a look at an example. We have here a little extract of music which doesn't have a slur. So technically, when you play this little extract, you have to separate or detach your notes. So it should sound like this. So you heard there's a little gap between the notes. It wasn't completely smooth and connected. If I put a slur over this melody, starting from the very first, ending on the last note, that means that all of these notes are going to be connected. But how do we connect notes on the piano? What we need to do is when we press down one note, we're going to hold it until we press down the second note, and that's when we lift the previous one, so there's no gap between them. So here it is in slow motion. And that's called legato playing. So I press down the first note, and I'm pressing down the second note, and then I release the first one. So there's a tiny fraction of a second where the two notes sound together, and that's the connection between one note to the other. So that's the main purpose of a slur, to create legato playing. The second most commonly used purpose of a slur is phrasing. So when we have multiple slurs after each other, that means that something is happening between the slurs. So when one slur ends and another slur begins, we call it a different sentence or a new phrase. Just like when you read a paragraph from a book, you've got commas and you've got full stops as well. So these help you make the text more understandable by putting it into smaller chunks so you can focus on one sentence at a time. The same applies to music. If we use multiple slurs in the same extract that I just played, we can create smaller phrases inside that long extract. So here in the next example, we've got 3 slurs, and it's connecting first 3 notes, then 3 notes and 2 notes. So that means that when I get to the end of the first slur, I have to lift up my hand and start the new slur with a downbeat. So this is how it's going to look.
So there was a little lift between the slurs, but I still stayed in time.